Now we'll be going over unit 3.6, which is efficiency ratios. These are used by the managers to measure how well the resources of the business are actually used. There's 4 of these. So let's start off with stock turnover. This is a ratio that measures how quickly it takes a business to sell its inventory. This is done through 2 formulas, which is either how many times per year a business has to do so, or how many days it takes them to do so. The times per year equation is cost of sales divided by average cost, whereas the number of days equation is the inverse of that. However, you should times that by 365. Also, average stock in this is obviously opening plus closing divided by 2. Usually less time is always better. However, you must be careful to not be selling too quickly because you gotta know when to restock, and it could help you with benefiting from economies of scale. In order to improve this, obviously you can hold lower stock levels, you can get rid of obsolete stocks, and you can only keep your best selling items. Next up, it is debtor days. This measures the time it takes for a business to collect payments from its debtors. And this is done by doing debtors divided by total sales revenue times 365. The less time it takes, the better for the business. However, too low number of days, it may hinder customer relationship. The 30 to 60 day mark is extremely common. To decrease this value, you must impose subcharges for late payers. You can give incentives for your customers to pay earlier. You can refuse further business with other companies, and you can threaten legal action. Next up, the third one is creditor days. This measures the amount of days it takes a business to actually repay its suppliers and creditors. This is done by doing creditors over cost of sales times 365. It's essentially the opposite of debtor days. And a high creditor days is good for a business in terms of liquidity position, but it may worsen its supplier relationship. The last efficiency ratio is gearing ratio. This is used to assess how much of a business capital employed comes from long-term loans. So this is essentially saying how risky your investments are, as your money might all be coming from things that you might need to repay. This is done by doing non-current liabilities divided by capital employed times 100. Capital employed is, of course, non-current liabilities plus equity. It's all the capital going into the business. The higher the ratio, obviously the higher the cost of financing and the higher the risk. 50% or above is considered extremely high, and you probably will not be able to repay those liabilities. That's it. Thank you very much.